Friday, the 9th of April. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony, and if I make it all the way through this show without a coughing fit, it will be a bloody miracle. We'll get to those news headlines in just a second, but first, those all-important celebrity birthdays. It's many happy returns to former footballer and goal machine Robbie Fowler, and a posthumous happy birthday to golfing great and five-time major winner Seve Ballesteros. And an equally happy posthumous birthday to the late and great Hugh Hefner. When people pass away, it's often said they've gone to a better place. In Hefner's case, that just seems highly unlikely. And we'll be right back after this.
If you enjoyed this show, please consider supporting us. Go to buymeacoffee.com/Demolition News.
There is a culture of financial deviance at the heart of the UK construction sector. That's just one of the key takeaways from research carried out by London's South Bank University into the collapse of industry giant Carillion. You might recall the demise of Carillion at the beginning of 2018 was the UK's biggest corporate failure in decades, affecting hundreds of thousands of people across the country. More than 3,000 people lost their job at their company, and the collapse affected 75,000 people working in its supply chain. The new research into that collapse shows that individuals and teams in the wider construction sector often accommodate, explain away, or normalise discrepancies and problems. These factors can result in a company not following codes of practice while failing to anticipate and manage a wide range of potential structural internal crises. The researchers have also exposed what they claim to be the most common deviant practices and identified three distinct types of normalisation of deviance that existed within Carillion before the corporation's collapse that could be prevalent in the wider construction industry. These are late payments to suppliers, yep, can certainly agree with that. Aggressive accounting, no great surprise there. And auditors are failing to identify problems. According to the report, the results sound an alarm bell and call for a structural reform of the construction industry to prevent the negative effects of corporate deviance. We will, once we get the chance, we will be reporting on that in a bit more depth over on Demolition News later today. Now, we all love an implosion, right? Oh, look, I love high-reach excavators and top-down demolition as much as the next guy. But there's something about a major demolition, explosive demolition happening right there in real time that just sets your heart racing. And assuming I'm not alone in my fascination with all things explosive, I have a treat for you. A German demolition contractor, Hagedorn, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I think I made it sound Swedish, but it is German. They recently carried out an explosive demolition at a former coal-fired power station. I could tell you that the demolition required 2,132 blast holes, that it involved 122 cutting charges, or that it required 420 kilograms of explosives. But it's probably better if I just show you. We will be bringing you a full report on that mammoth project in the next edition of the Demolition magazine. Now, to my mind, there are some buildings that should just never be demolished. Pubs, for example. Churches, maybe. I'm not religious and I no longer drink. It's a long story. I'll bore you with it sometime. But pubs and churches lie at the very heart of the community, and their demolition often feels like the loss of a key member of that community. On the other hand, there are certain buildings that should be demolished free of charge without even waiting for planning consent. Chelsea's Stamford Bridge Stadium springs immediately to my mind. Also on that list are many buildings that house Her Majesty's Tax Collection Service. So the news that Glasgow's Portcullis House, existing home of Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs, is coming down should have Scottish demolition contractors and those from further afield queuing up. The building is to be converted into a co-living space, whatever the hell that is, of up to 30 stories in height. The client in this instance is Watkin Jones Construction, and the architect is Hawkins Brown. Now, you can find out more about this and many other project leads over at buildersconference.co.uk. And I know I've got Neil Edwards in the chat today. So yeah, head on over, have a word with Neil, and he can point you in the right direction. Now, it appears that I've inadvertently created a monster. You might recall at the beginning of this week, I opened up my Evernote file containing a back catalogue of articles and research into both alleged and proven collusion within the UK construction sector, which kind of harks back to our lead story about financial deviance, I guess. I honestly had no idea just how high the demand for that information would be, but we've literally been inundated with access requests from both the demolition and the construction industries. Now, I've got to be honest, I never intended to close the file. In fact, my original plan was to keep it open and just to keep it updated as we went along and as the story progressed. But just in case you did miss it, we are adding the link to the show notes in today's show as well. The extended show notes are well, they'll be up in the next couple of minutes, but you can see a link to the CMA files as we speak. I think that just about wraps up today's show, and it wraps up this week. I don't know about you, but this short week has felt incredibly long. I'm exhausted from all this sitting down. I'm going to put my feet up this weekend because I'm back here again, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed on Monday morning at 10 a.m. and for the rest of the week. In addition, one for your diary, I'll be broadcasting again on Tuesday evening to bring you the details of the latest virtual product launch from those fine men and women at JCB. So mark that in your diary, 6 p.m. on Tuesday, the 13th of April. But until then, have a great day, have a great weekend, stay safe, look after yourselves, your family, your friends, and your colleagues, and I will see you on the other side. Thanks for watching. Yeah, good morning, Ken. Good luck with your jab today, sir. I hope it all goes well. Mine went off without a hitch. My wife's went off with an achy arm, but hers went off without a hitch as well. So yeah, I'm sure you'll be in very good hands. Good morning, Nick. Cracking article on our visit to see the French Lugong. No, it's a Chinese Lugong, but it's owned by Jay French. That's what I meant. You've done a cracking job on covering that. And Neil, yeah, well, I will be covering this in greater depth. It certainly does need more transparency. And if anything good can possibly come out of 3,000 job losses and the wider impact of the Carillion crisis, then hopefully this research will put in place some sort of change. So fingers crossed on that. As I say, I'll be back here again on Monday morning at 10 a.m. But until then, unless there's any other business, any other questions, I'm going to let you all get on with your day, and I will see you again next week. Thanks for watching.